Dan with Cats in Camo. We're back on the range with the Jimenex Arms JA NINE. We're going to start first. I've got my JA NINE loaded with 10 rounds. We've got steel set up. We're going to try to double tap the target to the left. And then we're going to shoot each of the 5 zombie heads that look largely peppered by now. And then finish with a double tap on the torso to the right. 10 rounds for 9 targets. We'll see how it does. The JA NINE 9mm handgun from Jimenex Arms. I'm out.
Alright guys, it's my turn to shoot the Jimenex Arms JA NINE. I'm excited. Well, kind of. I'm actually kind of intimidated because this one hurts.
But it's a fun gun.
Yeah.
So, the JA NINE.
Here we go.
Meet Allie. Allie, your toy for the evening. Loaded, not chambered.
Alright, we are back from the range with our Jimenex Arms JA NINE. A little disappointing, I gotta say. I don't know, I had higher expectations for this gun than when I fired it, it didn't quite meet them.
Strangely enough, the gun actually performed exactly how I thought that would. And that, well, that may sound negative once you hear the scores, but there's always more to the story than just simply a number. Taking the gun out on the range and putting it through its paces, we've got 8 different categories that we score the guns on, with a score of 1 to 5. Our first category is comfort of grip, how it feels in your hands. It didn't actually fit my hands very well. It seemed like it was made for smaller but still meaty hands. I'm giving it a 2.
It just seemed a little awkward, like, oh, okay, this is interesting, but I'll give it a chance. But then, you know, even just holding it just didn't quite seem to meet my expectations, and it just felt off, so I gave it a 2 out of 5 as well.
Well, let's talk about the sights. The Jimenex Arms JA NINE comes with a red front post, kind of like some of the revolvers do, and the back is an adjustable sight that has the white outline like Glock has, the little cup. Mm-hmm. And I actually kind of like that. They're a little small, but still, I'm going to give it a 3.
Well, for me, I normally like two-tone sights. I don't know why, they just are appealing to me and they seem to work well for me. This gun, not so much. It fell short of my expectations. I was really hoping to be more accurate with this gun. I was hoping the sights would actually hit where I wanted them to, and it just didn't seem to follow through. So I had to give it a 2 out of 5.
Well, let's talk about the trigger. I actually kind of liked the trigger. It was very solid. It was clean. I give it a 3, which is higher than I expected. I would have actually given it a 4, except some of the other problems, like on the next category, the perceived recoil, actually played into it where the trigger felt like it was biting my finger a little bit. Not when I pulled it, but actually when it fired. That slight delay took it down a score, so I'm going to give it a 3.
I would have to agree in regards that the trigger seemed okay. It seemed industry standard. It did not seem above or below. It met my expectations. There wasn't a delay. It didn't fire early. So, 3 out of 5.
Let's talk about perceived recoil. This gun kind of jumped and bucked and kicked in my hands, and it was uncomfortable. I won't say that it hurt, but it was uncomfortable enough that I had to remind myself to maintain my grip and hold still when I shot. And so I'm going to give it a 2 on perceived recoil.
For me, this also could be smaller hands. It actually hurt my hands. Every time I fired this, I mean, it wasn't enough to be like, okay, I can't fire this anymore, but I almost didn't want to fire it anymore. Because it hurt enough that it was like, okay, I can still shoot, but I know where the end of the tunnel is, and if I can just get through this, I don't have to shoot it anymore. So I gave it a 1. It really took my confidence level down. I was a couple times scared to shoot this gun. At one point I thought it was going to pop out of my hand, so didn't like it at all. 1 out of 5.
Let's talk about accuracy. When I did the paper course, what really surprised me was at the 7-yard distance, this gun was really accurate. And then when I pushed out to 12 yards, the gun did about what I expected. It wasn't nearly as accurate. And when I did the steel, I had trouble shooting it accurately, transitioning from target to target. My accuracy dropped off in a hurry. I'm going to give it a 2.
I would have to agree, where 2 out of 5 seems like a good score for accuracy. Up close, okay, yeah, I can trust this gun, but too much farther than our 7 yards, no. I would not trust it for accuracy, so 2 out of 5.
All right, let's talk about ease of reload. It was not that easy to reload. The magazine release button wasn't real easy to find. It was actually a little bit too flush, and the magazines don't always just pop out. Sometimes you have to help take them out, and at speed that's not going to work very well. They did seat fine, but all in all, again, a little bit below average. I'm going to give it a 2.
For me, practicing with this gun, just popping, put it back in, popping, put it back in, it seemed industry standard to me. It didn't stick for me, so it was at least enough to meet my expectations for what I would expect. So 3 out of 5 is what I gave it.
Well, let's talk about reliability. This gun, if you read the instruction manual, it tells you right up front that you are not supposed to use jacketed hollow points, which are the normal self-defense round. And so that tells you right there that you have to be careful what you feed the gun. The target rounds that we were using, the full metal jacket, round nose, had no trouble at all cycling and running clean for me. So I'm going to give it a 3 just because it ate everything that we wanted it to.
For me, with reliability, it seemed to be a little under my expectations. Again, where, comfort of grip and the accuracy and the recoil, when you throw all those things together into would I trust this gun with my life for a reliable, it's going to hit, I would have to say it was below my expectations. So I gave it a 2 out of 5.
Let's talk about our last category. That's ease of maintenance and cleaning. It seemed to work just fine. In fact, I've taken these guns apart and put them back together repeatedly, And it's always gone easier than it did on camera for me today, because in trying to show the camera how it worked, I tilted the slide and introduced it at too much of an angle, and it stuck. And normally if you just go milder, it slides over and it works just fine. I actually gave it a 3.
It did seem a little complicated to put back together, especially for a new shooter. I mean, someone more experienced can be just like, oh yeah, I can do that. But if I were to try to put this together and take it apart, I have a feeling I would have done even worse.
She'd be phoning a friend.
Help me!
Use a lifeline.
But yeah, it just seemed to be too complicated for my liking, so I gave it a 2 out of 5.
Time for the totals. And here we go. It came out at 20 for me, so it's a below average.
Yeah, my score came out below average as well, coming up to only 17 points.
While that kind of seems harsh, please keep in mind there's one mitigating factor that makes this gun a viable choice for people, and that is the suggested retail price on this 9mm is $199.
Wow.
You can buy this at gun shows and at some dealerships for $175, sometimes less. And being that it runs reliably and is fairly accurate at close quarters, where most self-defense situations obviously are going to happen inside 7 yards, and the gun works as advertised at that distance, and so it may actually still be a choice for you. While it's not the most comfortable or the fastest or the most accurate doing competition shooting, for a home defense gun on an extreme budget, I wouldn't hesitate to recommend this.
Well, it looks like that's all the time we've got for today, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by. And if you liked what you saw, point those...
Even if you don't.
We hope that you're going to point those crosshairs at the like button down below. And if you didn't like it, why don't you tell us in the comments what gun we should review? Maybe there's something out there that you like that we haven't done yet. We would love to hear your feedback. But stay tuned for more reviews coming later on. See you then.